All right, welcome back everyone for another deep dive. Today we're going to get into AI in marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is honestly pretty exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
It's also a little scary, right?
Oh, for sure. A little bit.
Yeah, it's changing things so fast.
It's changing the game, totally.
Totally. So we've got 3 sources that we dug up to kind of help us make sense of all this. First, there's a Forbes article that goes pretty deep into some of the risks of using AI in marketing.
Okay.
Then we found some, super polished marketing material from Google Ads.
As you expect.
Yeah, talking about all their AI-powered solutions and stuff.
Right, of course.
And finally, we have this PDF that we found, which is really interesting. It's all about how AI might actually, change, marketing jobs in the future.
That is interesting.
Yeah, what skills are we going to need? Will some jobs disappear?
The big questions, right.
Yeah, the big questions, exactly. So I thought maybe a good place to start would be, just acknowledging that whenever some new technology comes along, there's always this initial wave of
oh, it's going to solve everything.
Yeah. And then, then reality sets in.
Yeah, the hype cycle.
The hype cycle.
For sure.
Exactly. And I think we're kind of right in the thick of that with AI.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And marketing, we're figuring out what it can really do, not just what it promises.
It's it's finding that balance, I think.
Yeah.
Between the potential and the reality.
Totally. And, speaking of reality, the Forbes article that we found does not hold back on the risk. So
no, they're not sugarcoating it.
No, they're not sugarcoating it. So one of the things that I thought was really interesting that they brought up was this idea of homogenization.
Okay.
And by that, they basically mean, what happens if every brand starts using the same AI tools to write their, website copy or social media post or whatever?
Yeah.
Won't everything just start to sound the same?
Well, yeah. I mean, if everyone's using the same algorithms to, target their audience and write their stuff, it's kind of like everyone's using the same paint-by-numbers kit.
Right. Like a robot wrote it all.
Exactly.
And so that makes me wonder, how do you stand out as a brand in that kind of world?
That's the $1 million question.
Right.
Right. I mean, you gotta figure out how to cut through all that noise.
Yeah.
Because if everyone sounds the same, no one stands out.
It's true. It's true. It kind of makes me wonder, do you think we'll see brands almost overcorrecting and going back to a really distinct human voice as a way to stand out?
Honestly, I think that's already happening.
You do?
I mean, you see, there's this PR expert named Katie Jewett who's quoted in this Forbes article, and she said something like, relying too heavily on AI risks diluting authenticity.
Well, that's good.
And I think consumers are getting tired of that generic, AI-generated stuff.
You think?
They want something real.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that whole thing where, for a while, every website and every ad had those, generic stock photos of people smiling at salad.
No, totally.
And it's come on, you need something real to grab people's attention.
Exactly. You need something that feels genuine, that feels human.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of ties into another risk that the article mentions, which is it's not just that the content might sound the same.
Yeah.
It's also that AI makes it really easy to create a lot of content.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily make it easy to create good content.
That's true.
There's this guy, Jeff Marcoux.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a marketing tech person.
Okay.
And he compares it to the early days of email marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Where everyone was just blasting out generic messages and hoping something would stick.
Yeah.
And it was all just noise,
Yeah, just more noise, not more value.
Okay.
So it's not enough to just have an AI pumping out blog posts and ads and whatever.
Yeah.
You have to actually have a strategy.
Absolutely.
Behind it.
It has to be good.
It has to be good.
It has to resonate with your audience.
It has to be tied to
your brand, and it can't just be
yeah.
volume over quality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do. And it also makes me think about, if a lot of this AI is being trained on data that could, reflect existing biases in society, then, aren't we at risk of accidentally, amplifying those biases through our marketing?
100%. And that's something that, you have to be really mindful of when you're using these tools.
How do we avoid that?
I mean, it's a lot of careful data selection.
Okay.
It's ongoing monitoring.
Gotcha.
It's making sure that diverse voices are involved in, how these tools are developed and deployed and all that.
So a lot of human oversight is still needed.
Oh, absolutely.
To make sure the AI isn't going off the rails.
Yeah, you can't just set it and forget it.
Okay, so far we've got this potential for like homogenization, content that's more noise than value.
Right.
Perpetuating biases. This is starting to sound pretty bleak.
Well, it's definitely important to be aware of the risks.
Yeah.
Right. But let's not forget that AI also presents some really exciting opportunities.
Okay, let's talk about that. So the Google Ads material that we have is predictably very enthusiastic about the potential of AI.
Of course, they're selling a product.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But it is interesting to see how they're framing AI as the solution to some of these challenges that we've been talking about.
Right. Yep. So they're saying that, AI can help you unlock incremental conversions and value from your budget.
All right. Well, that sounds good.
What does that even mean?
Well, in theory, what they're saying is that AI can analyze your target audience and your ad spend in real time to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck.
So basically, AI is deciding where your ad dollars go.
Exactly. And they've got all these glowing case studies.
Oh, yeah.
They talk about Rothy's, the shoe company.
Okay.
And they claim that Rothy's saw a 60% increase.
Whoa, 60%.
In conversions.
That's huge.
And almost the same jump in revenue.
Okay, but are we sure this isn't just marketing hype?
Well, that's the thing with these case studies, right?
Yeah.
They're always going to highlight the success stories.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth digging a little deeper and figuring out how these tools actually work.
Okay, so Google's talking about these different AI-powered solutions. There's search ads, there's performance max, and there's demand gen campaigns.
Right.
What are those and how do they use AI?
So search ads are pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Those are the ads you see at the top of your Google search results.
Right.
Google's using AI to figure out which keywords trigger which ads, who sees them, how much they cost, all that stuff.
Okay.
Performance max is basically Google saying, let our AI handle everything.
Okay.
They will automatically place your ads across all of Google's platforms. So search, YouTube, Gmail.
You're just setting your ad budget on autopilot, basically.
Kinda, yeah. Okay. But even Google admits, it's still important to have human oversight.
Right.
To make sure the AI is actually aligned with your goals.
Okay.
And isn't making decisions that could,
hurt your brand.
Hurt your brand or, whatever.
Right. Okay, so what about demand gen campaigns? I don't
So demand gen,
really know what that is.
Those are all about creating buzz and driving demand for a product or service.
Okay.
They use really visual ad formats.
Gotcha.
Videos, interactive elements, things that really grab your attention.
Okay.
And AI is used to target those ads to people who are most likely to be interested.
So basically they're trying to predict who's going to be in the market for something before they even know it themselves.
Pretty much, yeah. Which of course raises all sorts of ethical questions.
Okay, we can save that for another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
But I think this gives us a good overview of the opportunities that AI presents.
Right.
It can potentially make marketing more efficient.
Absolutely.
More targeted. More effective at reaching the right people at the right time.
Right, all that good stuff.
But it's not a magic bullet, right? You still need a solid strategy.
For sure.
And you still need to be aware of those potential downsides.
Absolutely. It's not about replacing human marketers.
Right.
It's about augmenting their skills.
Yeah.
Giving them new tools to work with.
So for our listener out there who's probably thinking, is AI gonna take my job?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Well, the PDF that we have actually argues that AI won't completely replace marketers.
Okay.
But it will definitely change the types of jobs that are in demand.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's less about AI taking jobs and more about it changing what those jobs look like.
Oh, yeah.
It's think about it like this. Before tractors, farmers spent most of their time, manually plowing fields.
Right.
Tractors didn't eliminate the need for farmers.
Right.
But they did change the skills farmers needed.
Okay, so instead of like sweating in the fields all day.
Exactly.
Farmers had to learn how to, operate and maintain those tractors.
Exactly. And they could focus on other things like crop rotation or soil management, things like that.
Okay.
And I think in marketing, we're seeing something similar.
Okay.
Like tasks, like data entry,
Mm-hmm.
basic content creation.
Yeah.
Even some aspects of like SEO and PPC management.
Okay.
Those are becoming increasingly automated.
So it sounds like you're saying like those entry-level marketing jobs might start to look different or even like
potentially
disappear altogether.
It's possible, yeah.
Right.
But I think what's more likely is that those roles will evolve.
Okay.
Instead of like manually crunching numbers or writing like basic product descriptions.
Right.
Marketers will need to focus on the things AI can't do well.
Okay, so give me some examples. Like, what are those things?
Well, think about strategy.
Okay.
AI can analyze data and tell you what's working, but it can't tell you why it's working.
Right.
Or what to do next.
Yeah.
That requires like human insight, creativity, and understanding of the bigger picture.
So like even if an AI can write a blog post, it can't tell you like what that blog post should be about or how it fits into, your overall content strategy.
Exactly. Or think about like customer experience.
Okay.
AI can personalize emails, recommend products, but it can't like build genuine relationships or understand the nuances of human emotion.
And it almost makes you wonder, like, if all of this like AI-driven efficiency is actually going to make marketing less effective in some ways.
Interesting.
Like if everyone's getting these hyper-personalized recommendations, will those recommendations even feel special anymore?
Right. It just becomes it's just noise.
Yeah.
It's not meaningful anymore.
So maybe like instead of focusing on how to use AI to do everything, like faster and cheaper, maybe we should be thinking about like how to use AI to make our marketing more like meaningful and memorable.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
It's about using AI to enhance our human capabilities.
Right.
Not replace them.
So, okay, circling back to like our listener out there who's worried about job security.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
I would say embrace the change. Don't fear it.
Okay.
Start learning about AI and how it's being used in marketing.
Yeah.
Experiment with different tools.
Okay.
But most importantly, focus on developing those uniquely human skills that AI can't replicate.
Right.
Like creativity, empathy, critical thinking, and the ability to like tell compelling stories.
So it sounds like you're saying the most successful marketers,
I think so,
in the future are going to be the ones who can find that like sweet spot of like leveraging the power of AI, but still like retaining that human touch.
Got it.
Okay.
And that brings us back to, Google's vision of this AI-powered future.
Right.
They're painting a very rosy picture.
They are.
But I think it's important to approach it with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Yeah, I'm still a little wary of their whole like let the AI do everything for you approach. It feels
a little too
good to be true.
Good to be true.
Yeah.
And remember, Google's ultimately in the business of selling ads.
Right.
Their goal is to make it as easy and efficient as possible for businesses to spend money on their platforms.
So their idea of like success might not actually align with like what's best for every individual business or marketer,
You always have to think critically about the information you're getting, especially when it comes from a company that's trying to sell you something.
So how do we like cut through the hype and actually figure out?
Well, first of all, I would say don't get swept up in the latest trends.
Okay.
Just because something is new and shiny doesn't mean it's right for you.
Okay.
Take the time to understand how different AI tools work.
Yeah.
What their limitations are.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
If a company's claiming that their AI can magically solve all your marketing problems.
Right.
Dive a little deeper.
Yeah.
Ask for specifics. Ask for data.
Okay.
And remember, AI is ultimately just a tool. It's only as good as the data it's trained on.
Right.
And the humans who are using it.
So it's not about like
Right.
replacing humans with robots. It's about finding ways for humans and AI to work together effectively.
That's the key takeaway.
Okay.
And that brings us back to this question of job security.
Mm-hmm.
You know, AI is changing the marketing landscape.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make human marketers obsolete.
In fact, it might even make some of those human skills even more valuable.
Right, because in the end, it's still humans who are creating the strategies, making the decisions, and building those connections with customers.
Right.
You know.
I'm curious to hear from our listener, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Are you excited about the potential of AI, or are you a little freaked out?
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's a conversation we need to be having.
Absolutely. The more we talk about these issues, the better equipped we'll be to navigate this rapidly changing landscape.
Yeah, it feels like we're at this turning point.
It does.
With marketing, where it could go in a lot of different directions.
I agree. It's almost like we have this this choice to make, you know?
Okay.
Do we let AI kind of dictate the future of marketing?
Yeah.
And potentially end up with this landscape that's hyper efficient but kind of lacks heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? Or do we use AI as a tool to actually augment our creativity and help us connect with people on a deeper level?
Right. So it's not really about AI versus humans. It's about finding the right...
It's about balance.
Yeah, balance. Yeah.
Right, finding that sweet spot.
So figuring out how to leverage AI's strengths, but also leaning into those uniquely human qualities that make us good at marketing in the first place.
100%.
Okay. So
intuition, storytelling ability, understanding of emotion and motivation.
Yeah, and that makes me think back to that Forbes article and that risk of losing those authentic brand voices.
Right.
Maybe the key is to use AI to actually help us discover and amplify those voices.
Absolutely.
Rather than trying to.
I think that's a brilliant insight.
Okay.
You know, imagine using AI to analyze customer feedback, social media conversations, even things like online reviews, to really understand what people love about a brand.
Okay.
And then you can use that information to inform your marketing.
Right.
And make sure it's truly reflecting what resonates with your audience.
It's like using AI to do the heavy lifting of data analysis so that humans can focus on the creative strategy, the big picture thinking.
And the relationship building.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Don't forget that in the end, marketing is all about connecting with people.
Right.
AI can help us personalize those connections, but it can't replace the genuine human interaction that builds trust and loyalty.
So maybe the real opportunity here isn't about using AI to do everything faster and cheaper.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about using AI to make our marketing
I love that.
more human.
I love that idea. Imagine a world where marketing feels less like a barrage of targeted ads, and more like a curated collection of experiences and stories that actually add value to people's lives.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's a future worth striving for.
I think so too.
Okay.
So for our listener, who's been on this journey with us today, what's the one thing you hope they take away from this whole
that's a good question.
Deep dive.
I hope they walk away feeling empowered, not intimidated. AI is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
But it's not a magic solution.
Right.
The future of marketing belongs to those who can adapt, learn, and find creative ways to use these new tools to their advantage.
And never forget that human touch.
That's what's going to set you apart.
It's what makes us special.
In a world that's increasingly driven by algorithms.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and marketing.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope it's given you some things to think about as you navigate this exciting and ever-evolving landscape.
It's a wild ride, but it's going to be fun.
It is.